Hello, it's Kevin from Pork Pie Hatters. Today we're going to address some questions that some people who have commented have asked me a few times. One question is how to put the curve or flange, how to put the curve back in a brim that's gotten flat. If it's flat or floppy, this brim is flat in the front. It's got some flange in the back, some snap, you see? A flat brim doesn't snap. There's nothing to snap. So a curve is what you want in the brim. You can see my hat has a curve to it here, a flange, and that's what allows it to snap. Okay. This other brim is actually a hat that's meant to be flat in the front. It's just the way the style is. But I'm going to use it as an example to show you how to put some curve in a brim. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to steam it. Steam the whole front of the brim. The brim is the problem. We're going to start at the front. Treat that whole front like a plane, like one area. You're going to steam it, especially in the little crack here next to the band, the beginning of the brim. That's where we're really going to be shaping the brim and putting the curve in. We're going to press down on the hat right there. And the little tip of the edge of the brim will flip up. Something like this effect here. See it coming off? So you steam it, you hold it like this as hard as you can for a little while. Well, not as hard as you can, just hard enough until it's cool, and you let go. So steam it. Maybe stiffen it and steam it. What we're going to do, we'll demonstrate on this hat. First, we're going to clean the hat with some tape. We'll get all the lint off. We'll make little loops of tape and just pat it all down. Get all the lint off the area we're working on. You don't want one speck of dust. You take something like some ultra super hold hairspray. Cover up the sweat bands. You don't want that part to get wet. I'm going to use a hat stretcher. Doubles as a handle. Okay, so we're going to spray the underside here to stiffen it. Alright, let's turn on a fan, kind of flash dry it. Okay, the fan is on, and drying my hat. Now, there are a couple of ways to sort of, homemade ways, kind of, I guess, jury-rigged or tricks, home remedies, to put the curve or a flange back in the brim. The best way to do it is to get it blocked, to bring it back to a hat workshop where they have the molds, where they actually manufacture these hats on. And they use, different equipment and basically block that flange into it. It's more permanent than just using a steamer in your hands and stuff. But we're kind of looking for some ways to do this at home. So, okay, we're stiffening it. You can skip this step if your hat's already stiff. If your hat's overly soft, you're not going to get really good results. Unless it's a super quality hat, like, Borsalino's, higher series and stuff like that. Your hat should have a little bit of stiffness. Not stiff, but just a little body. It should be able to hold its own weight up. If it flops down, then you have no control. As long as it can hold its own weight up, then the hat is stiff enough. Stiff might be the wrong word. It should just be firm enough, a little bit of snap. This hat is still really buttery soft, but now it's slightly firmer. Okay. One way to get some curve back, like I said, is now to push on the edge of the brim right here. So I hit it with some steam right there, boom, boom, boom. Here, steam it all, and then kind of push down. Actually, okay, this is here. Push down so it lifts, and you hold it. You can even have the fan pointed at it while it dries now. Set it up, beforehand. Just hold it until the thing is totally dry. Wait a minute and a half, however long it takes. Then you let go, and it'll stay. Now, here's the thing. You may get some curve in the brim, okay? This will flip up, this side will flip up. It doesn't mean that the edge of the brim is going to be straight. It can still be, you could have a nice flange like this hat, but still be wavy. Okay, so now you fixed the inside and you gave it curve. Now you want to fix the outside or the edge of the brim. So what I like to do is this method where I turn it upside down on the table, and just after I steam it, you steam the whole area, just the weight of the hat, you press it down so everything's on the table even. Like that. I'm going to turn the steamer on. Okay, so what we're doing is now we've got the flange, we want to get the edge of the brim straight now, no waves. So now we work on the edge. You do it piece by piece, quarter by quarter. You split the hat into quarters. Turn it around just the weight of the hat. You can spin it a little if you want. Let it dry. Take it off the wet spot on the table. Go to a drier spot. That's one good way to get the edge of the brim straight, and you'll get flange in it too, because you're not really pushing down on it and flattening it. You're just straightening the edge of the brim because you're pressing so lightly. You could even use your fingertips to get the edge down on the table. Now, another method is to make a makeshift block. What you do is you find a hat that's bigger in size than this one that fits over it, or a hat that's too small that you can fit under it. A lot of times I like to separate them with like a piece of plastic wrap, so when you're putting one hat on top of the other, you don't squash the ribbon underneath with the top hat. So what you do is you put them against each other. Okay, I'll show you. Okay, here's my second hat, let's say. Then when you look at the edges, you can tell which parts need to be straightened. So this lavender hat on the bottom needs to go up to be more like the brown one. So I go ahead, I steam it, and I go like this all the way around. I try to get the lavender hat to be the same shape as the brown hat, which has more curve. I'm using it as a mold, very gently. So this is how I do it, watch. You need to use a hat that's stiff enough, big enough, that's a size or two bigger or something, and that's in good shape. You know, you don't want to mess up a really nice hat, but you want a hat that has a good flange. You don't want the hat to get a shape of it, you know, lazy hat, so you look for something that's straight. So you just go around, use this. You could even just look at it to see what areas need to be fixed. Yeah, just okay, this area there's a problem, you know, it needs to go up more. So you just go and you zap that area, kind of rub it out there. And then the same thing, you could take it off, zap the whole thing with a steamer, and do the tabletop method to get the waves out and get things straight. So you've got two methods here. One of them is the push down all the way against the crown here, but on the brim. Push down, the brim pops up. You do that right after you steam it. So in other words, you steam it like this, in here. Steam it, steam it, steam it, like that. You could even push forward on the back to get it curved while you're steaming it. Okay? Put it down on the table and push. So it comes up. Okay. In this instance, I think it's already up as high as it goes. You wait till it's totally dry, then you let go. And then do the edge. Put the edge of the brim straight. Do it in quarters. Now I always do the brim last. Do the crown first and brim last. You can see it's getting straighter now. You might have to go around and do this process 2-3 times. Sometimes it's good to take breaks. Not sometimes, always. Let the hat cool. Give it some fan, you know, flash cool it, and then go back. You don't want to over steam these hats where they're just totally saturated and they're not really drying. and stiffening up. Remember, it's a process of, cooling and heating. The hat cools into shape and hardens up, so don't let it get too overly wet. Take little breaks when you feel that you've been steaming for too long. And if you're not getting really good results, there's a chance that maybe you need to use more stiffener. Maybe you need to go a little bit, nobody likes a stiff hat, but the stiffer you go, the more definition and snap you get, the more results you get. The hat's going to soften up anyway, and it always does, so it's okay to have like a small period when the hat is a little stiff. We don't want it to feel like, sandpaper or cardboard, so don't go nuts. I would say 3 very thin coats of ultra hold, hairspray at the most, maybe 2, even 1, but no more. And keep the coats very thin, but even. Keep it off the inside level, cover that. Okay, so now I've got a little snap, a little firmness, that you can hear it flop, That's the spray. And that allows the hat to hold up its own weight, and it doesn't get, sag. Stands, like nice, good curve, flat. Boom. Now, really, I should have done the crown first, because if we go back and do the crown now, it's going to knock the brim out. It just does. So, I felt that this wasn't really a crown lesson. It was more about the brim, so I just ignored it. But, yeah, do the crown first, save the brim for last. And that's it. Keep it off the brim. Your hat should be upside down or hung up all the time. Keeping it on the brim is what's basically going to mess them up. We all do it. I do it too. So don't deny it. I know you do it. We forget, so flip it, stick it up on a nail or something in a box. I don't suggest drying a wet hat in that little ring in the box. Just dry it on the table or dry it hung up with the brim flipped up to the up position like this, and fix the crown, get the crown back to its factory shape, and pinches, crease. Let it dry the right way. Don't let the hat dry, like this, because that will become your new permanent shape that it will just snap back to every time. So, yeah, checklist. Your hat is wet. Check the crown. Get it right. Brim goes up. Make sure it's nice and straight. You can do the table thing, or just use your fingers. Okay, but it's in the up position. Last thing, it's hung up or upside down and away from heat. No heat if your house is super hot. Go somewhere like the bathroom or the kitchen, just close the door, crack the window, get a little cool air and let it dry like that, because you're damaging the leather inside, and the hat is prematurely aging and drying out if you're leaving it in a super dry, hot apartment, for months and months at a time. So that's why your hat has been shrinking and it feels too tight every time you take it out of storage. Put it in a cooler place, especially when it's drying. That's it. Talk to you guys soon. It's Kevin from Pork Pie Hatters. Take care.